Black Friday is coming up and it's Q4. It's time to make some money in our reselling businesses. A lot of resellers talk about those increased sales in Q4, but for me, the thing that sells the best for me in Q4 are items that are new with tags or other brand new items. Of course, used items sell well at the end of the year, but new items sell even better because a lot of people are purchasing gifts for the upcoming holiday season, and sometimes it's easier to splurge when you're buying for somebody else than when you're buying for yourself. Or maybe you're the one buying your own Christmas present and you just needed some justification to pull the trigger. To get those brand new items, most resellers turn to online and retail arbitrage. Throughout the video, I might refer to those as OA or RA, but you'll know what I mean, either online arbitrage or retail arbitrage. But basically that just means buying from a retailer to resell it back online. This includes stores like Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, outlet stores, or really any trusted retailer that's having a good enough deal. Now a little story time from my personal experience. I used to rely heavily on online and retail arbitrage in my business, but over the last couple of years I have scaled it way back just because it takes a lot more capital, because buying new items costs more than buying used items, and it is a little bit riskier because the amount of dollars you have invested in your inventory that hasn't sold is going to be higher. So for those reasons, and because I found a nice little groove reselling men's pre-owned clothing mainly, I decided to scale back from online and retail arbitrage, but I definitely am way more on top of it when it comes to the upcoming Black Friday sales and selling those items in Q4. And I will say the second best time for online and retail arbitrage is actually the new year in January and February, because all those retailers are clearing out and liquidating their inventory to make room for all the spring inventory that's going to be coming in. So during Q4, I definitely switch gears and focus more on OA and RA, and I'm going to show you the exact strategies that I use in my business that I'm still using today to make those profitable flips. Before I go into my exact strategy, let me break down a little bit of the pros and cons that come with online and retail arbitrage, just so that you can kind of know what you're getting into if you're not familiar. And if you are familiar, you can probably resonate with a lot of these. So let's talk about OA first. Let's start with some pros. You can source directly from your house. All you need is an internet connection, your phone or computer. The next pro is that everything gets delivered straight to your door. And the last main pro, in my opinion, are the stacked savings. You can stack coupon codes, cashback websites, discounted gift cards, your own credit card rewards programs. You can stack all those together to really increase the margins. Now, the cons of online arbitrage is if you can find it easily on your phone, that means really anyone can. So there's likely to be a lot of competition when it comes to reselling that item. Prices on OA items can tank. It can be a race to the bottom. A lot of people don't really understand fees, understand that you have to pay for shipping. Maybe somebody just getting into it might not realize how profitable the flip really is, and they'd be willing to take less money to the point where it's not even profitable and just to recoup their funds quickly. I would say this is more of a con of RA, but it also can be a time-consuming endeavor combing through all of the listings on an online arbitrage website or looking for the right deal, or it might go out of stock while you're trying to check out, and then it would be a waste of time if you're not able to fully check out, or the coupon code ends up not working, and that could end up wasting your time at the end of the day. Another con with online arbitrage is there are scam websites out there, unfortunately, and when you are trying to move quickly to secure these really good deals, sometimes it's easy to overlook the details and think that a site is real when it's really not and lose some money. And the last major con that I can think of, I'm sure there's more pros and cons, but some sites do sell defective items from brands and they sell them as final sale, and sometimes it's not always clear what those defects might be, and they might not be in resellable condition. So that's something to be on the lookout for when you are doing online arbitrage. Now, retail arbitrage, this is actually going into the store to find those items. The pros are the deals are location specific, so they are going to have less competition. Not all stores around the country are going to be stocked with the same item. So if you find a really good deal and there's only a couple of them there, the chances are that there's not going to be tons flooding the market in the near future. Another pro is sometimes there are additional discounts that can stack together in store, and stores will run promotions that can be even better deals than online. A lot of these online sites have warehouses where they're storing the items, so they have plenty of space to store those clearance items while they sell, but in store they might have to liquidate those items to make room for the new inventory, so they might be willing to do an even bigger discount. So I have found some of the better margin flips actually on retail arbitrage rather than online arbitrage. Now, here are the cons of retail arbitrage. This is where it can get a little dicey. It can be extremely time-consuming driving from store to store, and especially if you leave empty-handed, it can feel like a really big waste of time if you drove all the way to a store and weren't able to buy any items. It really is very right place, right time dependent. You sometimes have to be there right when they're stocking the items or right when the sale starts. Sometimes you don't even know when the sales are going to start, and you have to get lucky that they're running a special deal on a certain day. Like a Nike outlet, for example, on one day the price might be $25, and on another day the price might be $10, and sometimes there's not a way of knowing which it's going to be until you're actually in the store. For retail arbitrage, the stores that you want to hit might not actually even be close to you. I've really had a lot of fun and success shopping at Nike outlet stores when I'm traveling or on vacation, but the closest one to me is about 2 hours and 15 minutes away. If I needed to do that for my business, I could, but to me, that's almost 5 hours of driving just to get to one store. That's not something that I personally have time for in my business, so I just can't put that into my business. Another thing to remember when you are out in the store for retail arbitrage, you do still want to look those items over for flaws, because a lot of times they can have flaws or stains. Maybe that's why they got returned. Maybe that's why they ended up at a clearance retailer like Marshalls or TJ Maxx. So you still have to be on the lookout for flaws, stains, or damage, irregularities, things like that. So now that we have a little bit of background on online and retail arbitrage, I'm going to tell you guys the exact strategies that I personally am currently using when it comes to both of these tactics. So let's start with retail arbitrage, since we were just talking about that. I do have a few of the discount retailers in my area, like very close to me. Marshalls, Ross, TJ Maxx. I check those really anytime I'm driving by and I have the time, and I kind of go straight for the clearance racks just to see if there's anything there that is a home run deal that I can't pass up. But all throughout the year, there are specific sales that do have bigger discounts that can help you find a lot more items and increase the margins on those items you might flip from those stores. But with Black Friday coming, there will be specific sales that stack on top of clearance, and that's where you can really get the crazy margins. I'm always looking for in a sale when it says an additional percentage off clearance. That's where the magic happens. One of the best examples of this, and I've talked about this in many videos, is the Kohl's clearance event. They do these all throughout the year, but it's an additional 50% off the clearance price. So say the price started out as $100 and they have it clearance down to $60. You would actually get 50% off the $60, so it's $30 for a normally $100 item. That Kohl's clearance event actually led to my very best sale in 2024. I bought 5 Garmin smartwatches. I'll pop it up on the screen. I bought 5 of them for $122 each, so that was $610 spent in total. And I sold all 5 of them for combined over $1,500. A few other examples would be I found a Simms fishing jacket at the Dick's warehouse sale for $65 and ended up selling it for $165. Kind of going back to the pros and cons, the reason that was such a nice flip is because that was not an item that was typically stocked at that store. It was an item that was returned. So I was basically able to have the only one on the market on eBay and get a really nice sales price on that item. Another retail arbitrage flip that comes to mind is a Peter Millar jacket that I found during one of my live sourcing videos, and I ended up selling that for $140. So the deals are out there. So the next thing you're probably wondering is, how do you find out about these sales? Well, I'm in a reseller group called Bread and Butter. I don't honestly promote it very often because most of my content is about thrifting and pre-owned clothing, but this group has helped me make tens of thousands of dollars over the year, especially when I was relying on OA and RA more heavily. It was founded by another YouTuber, Millennial Prophet. His name's Adam. Me and him have became great friends. That is a really trustworthy and legitimate group that I do recommend trying out if you are interested in learning more about online and retail arbitrage. I used to have to dig around to figure out when these sales were starting, but honestly in the group they just tell you when the sales are starting before they happen, so it's easy to beat your local competition to get those deals. I'm not sponsored by the group, but the link down below if you do want to try it out is an affiliate link, and it does help me out if you want to try it. So if you learned about it from this video, make sure you sign up through that link down below. And like I mentioned before, Q4 is going to be the best time to try something like this. With Black Friday coming up, the holidays coming up, the end of the year, and the new year sales events happening, this is a really good time to try it out to see if you like it. Now, going to online arbitrage, the reselling group Bread and Butter, they do actually post specific leads every single day in the group that you can go and purchase to flip online. But I'll tell you my exact strategy when it comes to online arbitrage. I do not buy really any of the leads. Here's why. Everyone in the group sees those exact same leads, so lots of resellers are going to be buying those exact same items. That means competition is going to be high, so instead what I do is I go to the websites where those leads are coming from, and I find my own profitable items on those sites. The reason that works is now there's less competition, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll even buy all of the stock that's available in the item or in the size that I'm wanting to buy, so that way no other resellers can purchase that item. One of my own examples that comes comes to mind when I think about that strategy is an online clearance event I learned about. I'm not going to share the website because it's one that I still use, but I was able to find these Faherty Legend sweaters for $22 a piece. It was not one that was called out in the group, but other items from that sale were being called out, so I knew to go check. I think I picked up 4 of these Faherty Legend sweaters. I sold them anywhere from $44 all the way up to $74 plus shipping. So that ended up being a nice little flip. Now, when it comes to the online leads really paying off, I do remember last Cyber Monday, there was an absolutely crazy sale, and everyone in the group was spamming the checkout button as fast as possible. The deal was actually on the Converse website, and it was $20 off any clearance shoe, and a lot of these clearance shoes were marked $25 to $35. So at the end of the day, after all the discounts, I was able to buy pretty much as many shoes as I possibly could, from anywhere from $5 to $13 per pair for brand new in the box Converse delivered to my door. Now, the tricky thing is that you could only buy one pair at a time, and their servers were absolutely horrifically crashing because there were thousands of people trying to check out as fast as possible, and that's just how it goes sometimes. And I was able to get, over the course of an hour or two, 30 pairs purchased, and I sold those anywhere from $30 all the way up to $75. So that ended up being a huge win last Black Friday weekend from the reselling group. The thing about online arbitrage and retail arbitrage is you never know when the deal is coming, so you always have to be ready, and you have to be plugged in either on social media in a reselling group or with your local stores to know when those sales are going to be happening. So that's how I'm currently using online arbitrage and retail arbitrage in my business. I know I'm going to be using it a lot more with Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up, and I hope this helps you take advantage of those sourcing methods, especially for Q4. If you can buy something on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, get that thing listed quick and even get it sold before the holidays and have a nice quick turnaround on those flips. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace out.